Hey, welcome to Two Guys Garage. We got our hosts, Brian Fuller and Kevin Bird. Sure. Kick off a brand new project today, a swamp buggy.
Yeah, we'll help you out.
Really?
Kenny and
Are you going to be on the phone?
Kenny and Kenny. I mean, always. We're in the neighborhood.
All right, what do they want?
Fix their car.
Fix their car. All right, we got a new project, it sounds like. NASCAR Celebrity Trump Card coming at us.
I'm a little disappointed that they're not drafting each other. You know, I expect a lot out of you guys.
I only want him so close behind me.
You guys maybe recognize the federated NASCAR Cup driver, Ken Schrader, and also Kenny Wallace.
Hey, guys.
What's going on?
Glad you could make it. Looks like you brought a toy with you.
Oh, it's good to be here. We're big fans of this show. I mean, we've been watching it for 10 years now, right?
Wow.
And we've seen a lot of things you do, and we really like it.
Well, you know what? We've seen your show, too. And I don't want to say how many years we've been watching you guys, but great show out there on the NASCAR
yeah,
circuit.
but two Guys Garage is a lot of fun. All of you have a good time.
Yeah. You guys are always fixing stuff. We're tearing stuff up most of the time.
Right, that's right.
So what'd you bring us?
I brought you a 2004 Corvette. Federated Car Care is going to give it away in a promotion.
Very cool.
And we want to go through it from the front to the back with a fine-tooth comb and make sure she is 100% standing tall, ready to go.
And let me guess, when you say we, you mean us.
Well, we all want to make sure it's standing tall, but we want you to do it.
Okay,
Yes,
good.
yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I kind of figured that was coming.
Yeah, so all we got to do is fix it. Now, Kenny
Okay.
and I are going to go to the racetrack for a little bit.
All right, so you got a list inside,
Got a
ready
list
for us
inside.
to go.
Well, let me do one thing, though, because you guys are going to need these. So
Perfect.
who's going to actually be in charge here?
Who's in charge?
That's always a
We're gonna
struggle.
we're
It
going to have a
depends on.
face-off.
Oh, I'm in charge. I'm in charge.
Now we're in trouble.
All right, let's get it inside.
Let's get in the shop, guys.
You're staying, right?
We'll be back.
So, how'd she run?
You know, it was about somewhere fair to medium, I would say, with the typical check engine light, which is not a big shock.
So not tippy top. You know, I saw some smirks when they left, so I figured we might be getting ourselves in a little deeper than they let on to.
Originally 350 horse, not anymore.
All right, well, why don't we get in there and start digging in? And before we just throw some parts at it, let's do some diagnostics.
Yeah, we're going to go through a 21st century tune-up. Now, in the old days, change out the spark plugs, change out the wire, do the flush of the radiator, plug wire, normal kind of stuff. But today, it's nice because you have a computer. We're going to plug in this auto test, plug it right into OBD2 under the dash, and it's going to wirelessly give us some codes, tell us what's going on. We can use those to figure out what we need to replace and not just throw a bunch of parts at it.
Yeah, it's great because now we can be interactive. So we can get the information, we can actually put some back in. And you know, with the wireless tablet here in this form, I can walk around the vehicle, I can input stuff, I can do screen grabs, I can throw it into a document for my customers. It's a real great way to do it. Or you can throw your laptop on and basically get the same function.
I'm going to go ahead and plug it in.
All right, why don't you pop the hood and I'll do a visual. See what we got under here. And actually, it's pretty clean under here. He's got more dirt in the interior than he does under the engine compartment. Now, we got a 5.7 liter engine, as Brian said, used to make 350 horsepower. I don't see anything, you know, like a raccoon or any, you know, nest built up under there. So that'll be at least nice to work under. Let's pull some of these codes out, see what we've got, and we'll start using some brain cells along with it and do a little walkthrough on the diagnostics. All right, let's get our tablet linked up. So let's see if you can pick the right vehicle there.
Easy.
All right, so we got GM. We're wireless connecting to our VCI unit.
Cool. Corvette,
Yeah.
04, engine size, VIN. So yes, we're sure.
We definitely got the right one. All right, you're not picking body.
Why not?
It won't fix door dings.
Well, you know, there's latches and locks and gauge
This is
clusters.
true. Yep, so we can check airbags and all that stuff, but we're going to go into engine side. So, yep, engine control module. We're not dealing with the transmission, so, okay, diagnostic trouble codes. And we'll get some of these, you know, DTC information, so let's pick on that guy there. And history codes, let's see at least what we've got while it's not running but powered on. Okay, so we got a P0300, that's an engine misfire. So kind of in sync with what you felt while you were driving it, so that's good. But we got 8 cylinders, so we need to get a little bit deeper And what we can do is we can back out a couple of screens, we can go live here, and we can see what each cylinder is doing as it's running. We can look a little bit more on the history of, of collected misfire information. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to get a little bit deeper.
Welcome to the 21st century tune-up. This is the way to work right here.
I like this style. Okay, now we got our engine fired up and we are reading live. And if we go through our misfire screen.
We don't have any now, but it looks like over history, 1 and 3 really have been hitting a lot.
Yeah, and you've got, over time, a spark plug gap, let's say, might grow. And your ignition coil under light loads like idle might be able to throw the gap and spark. But like when you were driving it, I'm sure you were nailing it. And those conditions, you're picking up a misfire because you can't jump the gap. So it kind of makes some sense. So we've got some historical misfires on 1 and 3. So we can do either ignition or fuel for a misfire. So let's go ahead and get fuel. So let me go through here and look at our fuel trims. All right, so if we look at bank 1, we've got a short-term 4%, long-term 5%. So if we add them up, 9%. Bank 2 adds up 5 and 9 to 14%. Not enough to cause a misfire. If we were somewhere over 20%, maybe we could start looking at fuel being the reason. So let's ignore fuel for now. Let's back up and go to ignition. See if we're commanding ignition. So
yeah, looks like those are all on.
So the PCM is reading everything right. It's actually commanding that coil. So we might actually have a coil problem even though we're telling it to fire. So why don't we shut the engine down and we can start running through some diagnostics on 1 and 3. Now the thing we want to remember is 1 and 3 fire next to each other. And what the engine's doing is it's reading that data wheel with a sensor and it knows position of the crank, but it's actually accelerating with each fire. So misfire detection is actually looking at the acceleration of that.
It's amazing it can read it at that speed. That's
I know.
incredible.
2 cylinders side by side, it may not know which one was misfiring because of that acceleration. So we'll check both and we'll see if we've got 2 coils bad or maybe just one or a plug or a wire. So.
We determined that it's either cylinder 1 or cylinder 3 we're getting a misfire. So what we want to do to test is I'm going to go ahead and pull a spark plug boot. I'm going to plug in this tester. Now you could just use the spark plug. Problem with the normal spark plug is that it just doesn't have enough resistance. This has extra resistance to really make that coil pack work and try to simulate that load and see if we've got some kind of intermittent spark. So why don't we go ahead and crank her up? Ah, very nice. Okay, kill it. We got a good spark there. So we know 1 is fine. Let's try, see if we can real quick switch out to 3. Okay, I got 1 back in. See if 3 come out. Good. Now, stick the tester in there. Put it back on our ground again. All right, go for it. Ah, there you go. Yeah, that's intermittent. I mean, we had actually 1, and then it just stopped going. So now we know we have 3. So next thing we need to do, let's go ahead and swap wires. And then we can determine whether it's the wire or whether it's the coil. Do that real quick. Okay, I got that wire swapped out. Go ahead, hit the key. Aha! Okay, that's it. Our coil on number 3, that's our problem. We've diagnosed, the computer's sending the signal, everything else is good, 1 is fine, we just got a bad coil on 3. So that's cool. Now this thing does have 60,000 miles on it. Probably a good time to just go ahead and call Federated, get a new set of plug wires, 1 coil, and we will be set. So right now we're gonna take a break. We'll be back with some more stuff.
All right, man. My side, done.
You done already?
That's right.
Jeez.
Well, I guess you had a coil to do too.
Yeah.
All right, we call in our favors at Federated. We got Kenny and Kenny behind us, and they sent a professional grade wire set and a new coil. These are all manufactured by Standard Motor Products. So I think once Brian gets that last coil or the coil replaced, our ignition system should be top notch. Now, if you remember, the fuel trims were a little bit off, so that's something else we want to address. So let's get our little standalone diagnostic tool on, and we'll see if we can't dial that in too. All right, and we got our ignition system all buttoned up and seems to be running pretty good. I can't wait to get it out under load and make double sure. Now I'm looking at my O2 sensor condition, right? So the oxygen sensor, you know, it's basically an on-off switch. So if I go enough lean or enough rich, it'll kind of flip the computer to kind of start leaning out or start richening up, you know, some of my injection. Now you want this action to go really, really fast. And, you know, I got some screen grabs, and you can see the oscillations of the computer is actually making it go rich and making it go lean. So it's staying in a really fine band, you know, right around lambda, you know, the right air-fuel ratio. Well, these are actually kind of slow. And you can see by the frequency, like how fast they're going back and forth. So they're slowing down, they're getting aged. You know, they've got a lot of exhaust pulses blowing by them. So I think we're going to go ahead and replace them. You know, it is the Kinneys. So let's throw some new O2 sensors on there. You know, we're at 60, 70,000 miles. And we might as well go ahead, clean up those fuel trims, start flushing the system out. Time for a bath. We're going to take these injectors and give them a good cleaning. Now we're going to start with this clean kit. This is from S&P. This is the Clean Plan system. Now everything in here is all the parts that you need, all the adapters. You got a DVD inside. Check this out. More goodies. Everything you need for whatever car you're working on. Now we're going to start with Ultra Clean. We're going to put one container in there, and we're going to use shop air to pressurize it to the same pressure that the fuel pump is going to pressurize the rail. Now this is going to replace our gasoline. It's going to burn, but it's got cleaning agents in it. Now what we need to do is we've got it connected to the rail. This gauge will tell us what the rail pressure is. So different vehicles are going to run at different pressures. So we're going to cycle the fuel pump. So Brian, if you want to get in there and cycle that guy, we can see what its normal operating pressure is, about 50 psi. Now I can come over here and start to dial this guy in to about 50 psi. I can open it up now. Now when I start the key again, I want to make sure that I pull my fuel pump relay out. So I don't want to run gasoline through it, I want to run my solution through it. So that's going to clean everything out. Now it's going to siphon it all out, and when it starts to gurgle or pop, you know it's done. You can shut it down. So that's step one. Step two, I'm going to put another container of a similar cleaner in the tank. That's going to do a slow clean and a slow flush through the system. Now step 3 and 4 of the process, you want to clean your MAF, your mass airflow sensor, and your throttle body. Once you've gone through all that, your fuel system is nice and clean.
Welcome back. Changing out the O2 sensors underneath the Vette and show you what these look like. These normally can last, you know, usually at least 50,000 miles, but you know, they kind of get slow and maybe they're time to change out. We're going to go ahead and change them out. Nice high quality unit. Came with anti-seize already on. Reason being, sometimes if you try to goop some on there, you can get it on the sensor. That should be nice and dry, so you don't want to contaminate it. There are two. Got two in the back of the cat, two in the front of the cat. Exhaust running down the side, and now I just need to unclick our sensor.
So now you got your airline practice down, Brian. How are you making out under here?
I'm doing well.
I've been circling around a little bit, you know. Anytime you're doing sort of a modern 21st century style tune-up, you want to give the vehicle a full go-around, you know, listen to your customer. And, you know, I can see in here we've got brakes kind of wearing out, so that's probably something we'll put on the list. And up here we've got kind of the equivalent of about a bird's nest where the junk smashed into the radiator, so we might want to blow that out with the hose. And the Vettes are kind of unique as we walk through here. You know, they're kind of glued together. You can see some of the glue kind of sitting down here, gooped out or whatever. Now the transmission is not up in the front. It's actually hiding back here in the back. It puts more weight on the rear, better weight distribution. It's got the, you know, differential bolted together, sort of a transaxle. Now what also is kind of cool about these is they've got a fiberglass or composite leaf spring front and rear instead of a coil. So that's how that suspension's kind of set up, a double A-arm, but unique on the springs. Now some of the other things we noticed, we've got two brackets here broken right through the weld. So instead of just replacing those brackets, we'll get Kenny, he's got the connections at Federated. Let's put a whole new exhaust system on there. So are these things giving you any fits, Brian?
No, I'm getting pretty close. A couple down, a couple to go.
All right, well, I'm going to keep doing some circles around this car. We're going to make ourselves a nice big list.
The wireless on this will reach all the way to the pool.
Ooh, great idea. We should try that.
Tune-up is almost complete. O2s are changed out. We flushed the system, good and clean.
And our ignition system is working great.
One final step. We want to make sure there isn't any new software this thing needs. So we're going to go on the GM website, we type in the VIN code, and see if something comes up.
All right, you check that out. I'll give you guys some updates. Now, if you remember, I put some screen grabs up on here so you can see them. The fuel trims were a little bit off before. After our clean and flush, you can see now the short-term values at the bottom, the negatives, slightly negative on the short term with the slightly positive on the long term. Those cancel out in 0.
I did find an update here. It's unable to reset engine oil life monitor, so we can flash the new one in, and it should be ready to go.
Cool. Yeah, on the other side, the O2s, check these out. Now, the original O2 sensors were going kind of slow, a little lethargic. We put the new ones in, now they're snappy and fast. So they're moving pretty quickly, keeping the oxygen and the air-fuel mixture just right into a very narrow band. So we got a good, clean burning combustion, no fuel economy lost, good emissions.
Yep. We'll be ready to reset the codes so we can start from scratch and see how our update went.
Which means we go for a drive, see if we can kick off any new codes, and hopefully not, we should be done with it.
Yeah, and this is going to be a cool project. We're going to have it around for a few shows. We're going to go through brakes and exhaust and some pieces like that. But, special thanks to Federated for hooking us up with parts.
Yeah, well, in the meantime, we're out of time, so we're going to take a break.
And one of the first things I like to do when doing some maintenance on a car like this is make sure you can see. How beautiful is that? This is Ken Schrader, veteran Federated NASCAR driver.
You gonna get me fixed up here with mine? I was having trouble seeing, and I hate changing them. I know they tell me they're simple, but show me how.
They're very, very simple. It's gonna make you mad how simple they are.
Just popped off.
Now we're taking some nice Anco contour blades. They're a one-piece design. This is gonna really take care of that ice situation, sun, wind, all the stuff you get. You wanna switch these out every 6 months, and when you see how easy it is, you're gonna wanna do it at home. Now watch, all you do, click it in, put her down. How easy is that?
It's so easy. You change that other side. You got everything under control here. Thank you, Brian.
This tip is brought to you by Anco Wiper Blades and the fine folks at Federated.